Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. It is time for the Iron Crafter Challenge and Hop once again. I will leave you links to everybody who is playing along with our mystery ingredient, which this time around is ribbons, trims, and fibers. And they will share how they put their mystery ingredient to use. And I'm going to share some of my real-life scrapbooking with you this time around. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so I had ribbons and trims and such in my counterfeit kit this month, so I went ahead and pulled that out, and I've been determined to use more of my ribbons and trims because as the challenge is the goal of is to use up the supplies that you don't use as often. And so I was happy to set forth on trying to make this challenge a good go, and things just didn't feel like they were working. You know, item after item just kept feeling wrong. And in the end, I don't like this layout. And I don't know if it's because I was frustrated during the process or because I don't actually like the layout. At any rate, let me skip most of the challenges I have and just kind of walk you through some of these steps. Now, here's the first challenge I had is that I wanted to overlay the ribbon on top of matching strips of pattern paper for a tone-on-tone look. And I didn't have a lot of strips that I thought would work that were not too busy. So I cut apart a bunch of stuff. I matted my photos. I've got some of those strips from that one stripe of pattern paper because it's solid colors. And I'm picking and choosing a few things. And so far I'm feeling okay about things. And then as I start lining up these strips, I wanted to create a triangle. And I've done this with just solid pieces of cardstock. And putting this triangle thing together with these strips was not feeling right. Everything just felt off and awkward, and none of these points were coming together. So then I decided, well, maybe I need to actually put some points onto my strips and make them more like arrow strips. So I measure off the edges of my strips. And then I'm like, okay, if I've got an arrow on it, how is the ribbon going to overlay? So I decided to go ahead and punch a hole, and I will thread the ribbon through. And then most of my ribbon doesn't fit through the holes properly, so I use this kind of yarn needle to enlarge my holes, and then some of the holes got too big. And so I do get my ribbons and trims through there, but the holes feel kind of awkward and gappy. And, you know, sometimes when I'm working and things aren't feeling good, if I just keep going, I find ideas that kind of help pull things together. Did not happen this time. I do keep going and I do finish the layout, but it doesn't feel like it came together. Anyway, I keep going. I'm working on all of those strips at the top, and I'm going to want to mirror that at the bottom. You can see one strip down there at the bottom, and I'm going to change up that color because I decided that color just wasn't working at all. And then as I put my strips up there, I'm like, okay, it's not really a triangle of pattern paper anymore, but that could be a good place to nestle my title so it kind of encompasses and points to my title. And I like the idea, but it still doesn't feel good. And I will be honest, I am not sure why it doesn't feel right. I think the gaps between the pattern papers feel wrong. I think because I kind of did a reverse triangle where my title is nestled into a triangle created by those pattern papers, it just really is off from, you know, having an actual triangle of paper. So anyway, I set that aside and try and let my brain think about it. And I wanted to add a little bit more detail to this background piece. I had created this kind of doodle piece a while ago, and this was a step I had thought about when I was making it, but didn't get to. And so I pull out my ink and I'm watering it down. Only I haven't used this ink a lot, and it is super thick, and it just surprises me every time at how thick it is and how much I need to water it down. And so I end up with blobs on the left side of my page, and I try and blot them up, and I'm not liking it. So on the right hand side of the page, I'd finished it up, and I like that light streakiness, but because I have blobs, I'm making more blobs to try and make them look purposeful and blend in. And I'm not liking it, but I keep going. Okay, I popped up these strips of paper on some foam, and I thought, okay, well, maybe that will give it more depth and dimension and kind of more of a dynamic quality. And so I'm getting all of these strips going on, and then I cut some of the strips of my ribbon the wrong size, so I had to rearrange them so that they were the right size to actually fit on my paper properly. And then I was getting sticky foam stuck on my scissors, and I was not having a good time, you guys. I can laugh about it now, but that's not what I was doing when I was making this layout. I bet you've had days like that. I just bet. It's not just me, right? Please tell me it's not just me. Okay, I just keep barreling forward. I do the same thing at the bottom, and now I know why I don't like this one at the bottom. Because that triangle got really spread wide, it doesn't look much like a triangle anymore. And maybe that's what's going on with me at the top too, is that I envisioned this really kind of angled piece, and that's not what yeah. Not only is the triangle reversed at the top from what I wanted, the triangle at the bottom is kind of the pointy that I wanted, but now it's too wide and doesn't look as much like a triangle. So I pull out some embellishments and I start adding things, because sometimes when I get to this stage of a layout, it really does feel like it's coming together and I feel like it's making sense. And the embellishments help. They definitely add some more elements to the layout that are interesting and kind of draw the eye. But really at this point, I feel like I'm trying to just distract from all the ribbon and strips of pattern paper that I put on there, which was the whole point of today's challenge. And I would like to do this idea again, but I'm thinking maybe I would just stick with straight strips going across vertically or horizontally across the layout and not try and turn them into this angled thing as well. So I put my embellishments on and I'm feeling like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. The layout's done. I never chuck layouts that I'm unhappy with. I don't know, maybe a handful of times in the 25 years that I've been scrapbooking, I've done it, but this will just go in my album. Oh, here's another thing that went wrong. I was like, okay, part of this, less dense layout, I do really full-bodied layouts in general, but when I have this more white space layout, I like to do doodle borders around the edges, and then my white pen wasn't working because everything in the background is white. So I pull out my black pen and it's skipping on me. I think it doesn't like writing over that white gel and it starts skipping on me. And I'm just done. So I will go ahead and finish that bit off, and that does help. That is one of those last touches that I do appreciate and like, and it helps, but I'm just done. Oh, no, I'm not done putting the date on it because I keep forgetting to date my layouts, and I want to make sure that I can get them into my albums where they go. And while the pictures in this story were from 2020, the story is from now, about how sometimes I don't accomplish the things I would like to accomplish. So there you go. That is my real life scrapbooking for you. I did consider not posting this video, but I'm going to leave it and you guys can share along with my misery and maybe share your own stories with me. So until next time, hopefully I will have a better layout for you. And until then, I hope you have some artful days.